My husband hung a small wooden sign that said, "Love lives here." It was his way of reclaiming peace after his sister passed. The next morning, someone had burned it. On our lawn. A note was left in the ashes. "So does weakness." We didn't sleep that night. Days later, we found a trail of burn marks leading toward one house. The neighbor said, "You should leave wood where it can be misunderstood." But then a local reporter reached out. "We've been tracking this pattern. Yours is the 5th burn message this month." What followed? An investigation that uncovered way more than just a sign. My name's Tracy. I live with my husband Sam in Hamilton, Ohio. We're in our early 40s. We've lived in the same one-story brick house since we got married in 2007. It's not perfect, but it's home. Last fall, Sam's sister Melissa died suddenly. It was an aneurysm. She was healthy, young, no warning signs. Gone overnight. She lived in Cincinnati, but they talked every week. Her death hollowed him out. The day after the funeral, Sam sat in the garage for almost 10 hours. Didn't eat. Barely said a word. I left him alone, not knowing what else to do. I figured he was just working through it in his own way. A week later, he came inside holding something. It was a wooden sign, hand-carved. Small, maybe 12 inches long. He'd sanded it smooth and painted the words himself in white. "Love lives here." He didn't explain it. He just walked outside and stuck it into the flower bed by the walkway. I watched from the window as he stood there for a long time, just looking at it. Then he came inside, showered, and, for the first time in days, got in bed with me and actually slept. That sign meant something. It wasn't just for decoration. It was Sam's way of saying, "I'm still here. I'm trying." That's why what happened the next morning hit so damn hard. We woke up around 6:30. I opened the front door to grab the newspaper and stopped dead. Sam came up behind me and froze too. The sign was gone. In its place was a black, scorched patch of grass. Right in the middle of it, still warm, were ashes. Burned wood. The faint stink of smoke hung in the cold air. And in the center, someone had left a folded piece of paper. Burned around the edges. Inside it said, "So does weakness." I stared at that note for a long time. My heart was pounding. Sam didn't say a word. He just walked out barefoot, picked it up, and stood there staring at the ashes like they might come back together. We didn't sleep that night. I called the police. The officer came by, took a few pictures, wrote down what we told him. He said it was probably teenagers being stupid. "Kids like fire," he said with a shrug. Then he smiled and added, "It's a weird sign anyway, you know." Sam didn't even respond. He just walked back inside. But that's when I knew something had shifted. Because Sam didn't get sad. He didn't cry. He got quiet. Focused. The kind of quiet you don't trust. 2 days later, I was weeding near the side of the yard when I found it. At first, I thought it was a piece of bark. It crumbled when I touched it. Burned. Then I found another. And another. A line of blackened marks that led away from our yard, across the sidewalk, along the curb, and straight toward the house 3 doors down. Rita's house. She was in her 60s. Wore the same pink robe every morning to get her mail. Her porch was covered in wind chimes and old furniture. But the house wasn't empty. Her adult son, Jason, had moved in after his divorce. He was always working on that damn motorcycle in the driveway. Quiet. Big guy. Never said hello. We knocked. Rita opened the door and looked past us to the yard. She didn't ask what we wanted. She said, "You should leave wood where it can be misunderstood." I blinked. Sam stared at her for a long time. "What does that mean?" I asked. She gave a half-smile and closed the door. I didn't sleep after that. Neither did Sam. The next night, someone left something on our porch. A mason jar filled with ash. Inside were pieces of burned paper. One said, "Love," in red crayon. Another had, "Liars," in shaky handwriting. The lid was screwed on tight. No fingerprints. No note this time. We gave it to the police. They took it, acted more serious this time, but still didn't do anything useful. Just promised to increase patrols. Sam didn't care. He was already planning something. Then Caleb Morris called. He was a local reporter with the Butler County News Sentinel. Said he'd heard about what happened to us and wanted to talk. He sounded calm. Professional. But he said something that caught my attention. "Yours is the 5th burn sign this month." That got Sam's attention too. We agreed to meet him at the house that night. He came alone. Early 30s. Carried a thick binder full of photos. He laid them out on our table. One was a wooden post that said, "Peace begins at home." torched to black. Another was a wooden dog silhouette with, "In loving memory of Duke," across it. Also burned. A third said, "Our little family," with stick figures drawn in marker. Each one had been set on fire. Some right on the owner's lawns. All had notes. Different handwriting. All had some insult in them. "Yours is the only one with the word weakness," Caleb said. But every note attacked something emotional. Every one of them was deeply personal. None of these people had cameras. Sam leaned back in his chair. Caleb looked at us. "We think it's the same person. Someone who thinks this is a message." Sam's face was stone. "Who else knows?" "Just me and a few editors," Caleb said. "The police aren't connecting the dots yet." I saw the look in Sam's eyes. That cold, measured stare I hadn't seen since his sister died. He didn't say it out loud, but I knew what he was thinking. We're going to find whoever did this. And we're not calling the cops again. After Caleb left, Sam stopped pretending to be okay. He printed out the photos Caleb showed us. Taped them up in the garage. Labeled them with dates, street names, and the messages left behind. It looked like a war board. But he wasn't being dramatic. He was being exact. Focused. That's who Sam becomes when someone hurts what he loves. He doesn't yell. He calculates. I tried to pull him back in. Told him maybe it really was just someone playing a sick game. Maybe they'd stop. He looked me dead in the eyes and said, "You don't set 5 fires by accident." The next weekend, we saw Jason. He was walking back from the gas station. Hoodie, gloves, earbuds in. Sam and I were sitting on the porch. Sam didn't move. Just watched him pass. Jason didn't look at us. But I swear he smirked. Not a full smile. Just that twitch you catch in someone who thinks they're better than you. Sam stood up and went inside. That night, Sam did something I didn't expect. He bought a second-hand trail camera. Wired it behind the mailbox, angled just right. Then he bought another one and hid it in the birdhouse out front. A third he stuck under our neighbor's porch light with her permission. Nothing happened for days. Until the 5th night. That morning, I found the printouts on the kitchen table. 3:14 a.m. A figure moving along the sidewalk. Can't see his face. But the body size? The way he walks? It's Jason. You can tell if you've watched someone enough. Then the next frame, he's at our flower bed. But he didn't burn anything this time. He just stared. Stood there for almost 5 full minutes. Then he walked off slow. Sam didn't take that as mercy. He took it as a threat. That day, Sam and Caleb started talking more. Sharing notes. Comparing timelines. Caleb found out 2 of the other burn sign victims used to work at the same local church. The third one used to run a grief support group. The fourth had a suicide prevention banner on her fence. They all had something in common. They were publicly kind. The theory started to grow. Whoever was doing this hated anything that looked like hope. We brought that theory to the police. They didn't care. Still called it disturbing but low priority. That's when Sam decided we had to go further. He started watching Jason's house. Tracked when lights went off. When cars came and went. He saw Jason leave at 2 a.m. 3 nights in a row. Always came back by 3:30. Then Sam found it. Buried in a thread online. An old blog post. A Reddit comment from 3 years ago on a grief support forum. It said, "You people disgust me. You think pain gives you meaning. You're just broken showing off your scars." The username? Crimson Gavel 94. Sam searched it. Found posts going back years. All angry. All targeting support groups, survivors, even therapy pages. Guess who followed that account on Twitter? Jason. Same username. Same angry posts. That's when Sam made his choice. He didn't want justice. He wanted the world to see what Jason really was. After Sam found the Reddit account linked to Jason, something changed in him. He started writing things down. Not just notes or thoughts, plans. He wasn't angry anymore. He was methodical. I asked him, "What are you going to do?" He said, "I'm not going to touch him. I'm going to make him untouchable. No job. No friends. Nowhere to hide." That scared me more than any fire. He printed every comment from Jason's online profiles. He had a binder. Pages and pages of rants under different usernames, but all linking back to the same email or handle. The same hate speech. The same twisted logic about grief being a disease. Kindness being performance. He had made it his personality to tear people down for being vulnerable. Sam brought it to Caleb. They spent 3 nights cross-checking timestamps. Every time there was a fire, there was a post. Something smug. Something cryptic. Jason was bragging without admitting it. Caleb pitched the story to his editor. They hesitated. Said they needed more? Something real. Something visible. The posts alone weren't enough. So Sam decided to get it. He waited until Jason left the house. He slipped into the backyard and found a trash bin that hadn't been emptied yet. Inside? Charcoal-stained gloves. A half-melted plastic lighter. And a burned piece of wood that said, "You matter," on the edge. Sam took photos. Caleb ran it through his paper's legal team. They said it was enough. The story went live 3 days later. Headline: Burned messages, how one man terrorized grieving families in Hamilton. Sam kept the article offline until Jason went to work. Then he printed 50 copies and taped them to every mailbox on the block. He left 3 on Jason's porch. Rita came out screaming an hour later. She accused us of slander. Sam didn't argue. He just stood there, arms folded, while she called the police. When the officers came, Sam showed them the gloves, the photos, the timeline, the burner Reddit posts. They didn't arrest Jason. But they didn't laugh this time either. That night, Jason didn't come home. But someone did. At 2:14 a.m., the camera caught a different figure creeping around our house. This time it was Rita. She was dragging something. A plastic bucket. She poured it into our flower bed. Gasoline. I hit the floodlight before she could light anything. Sam came out yelling. She dropped the lighter and ran. Police arrested her that night. Arson attempt. Trespassing. And guess what? That led to a search warrant for the house. That's when it all cracked wide open. They found a locked drawer in Jason's room. Inside? 6 burned keepsakes from different homes, notes in different handwriting. He'd been trying to disguise his letters, a map with 20 more homes circled. He wasn't just done. He was planning to keep going. The news picked it up. Arsonists targeted families across Butler County. Caleb's story blew up. Jason was exposed. Fired from his job. His ex-wife filed a restraining order. His face was everywhere. And Sam? He wasn't done yet. He found Jason's old church group. Found the pastor. Sent him the story. Then he mailed it to Jason's military commander, along with a list of every known incident, and a letter signed by the 5 families he hurt. Jason was being buried alive in his own actions. But it still wasn't enough for Sam. Even after the article dropped, even after Rita was arrested and Jason's room gave up his secrets, Sam didn't rest. He shaved off his beard. Stopped eating junk. Walked 5 miles a day. Every minute of his time was spent contacting people Jason knew. Employers. Friends. His ex-wife's family. His old army buddies. Sam sent them all the story. Sent photos. Sent screenshots. And people listened. Jason lost everything fast. Within a month, he was fired. His bank froze his account after a fraud investigation tied to an old GoFundMe he'd faked years ago, and his ex got full custody of their daughter. But it wasn't just revenge anymore. Sam had turned into something else, like the pain had carved out everything soft in him. One night I asked him, "What now? He's ruined." He stared at the floor and said, "So was Mel. But she didn't hurt anybody." He blamed himself. Thought if he hadn't spiraled after she died, he would have seen the danger earlier. That guilt dug in deep. But there was still one more thing left. Caleb called us. He said the DA might press charges on Jason, but it wouldn't stick without a confession or direct evidence tying him to one of the fires. Everything else was circumstantial. He needed one more hit. So Sam made it happen. He knew Jason was living in a rundown motel on the edge of town. He went there with a hidden mic and knocked on the door. Said he wanted to make peace. Jason opened the door. Sam told him he forgave him. Told him he understood how pain makes people act out. That he just wanted to talk. Jason stepped outside. And that's when he said it. "I only lit them up because you people kept acting like pain makes you noble. It doesn't. It makes you pathetic. I was just proving a point." All of it recorded. Jason was arrested 2 hours later. Charged with multiple counts of arson, harassment, and attempted assault. He pled not guilty, but the tape buried him. Rita lost the house after a lien was placed for civil damages. Turns out, she knew all along. She helped cover for him. Said it was to protect her boy. And me? I thought that would be the end. But it wasn't. Because after the trial, when Sam stood outside the courthouse with the other families, reporters swarming, he said something I'll never forget. They asked how he felt now that Jason was going to prison. He looked straight into the camera and said, He didn't just burn our signs. He tried to burn the idea that love matters. And I'll never forgive him for that. We went home. The yard was quiet. That night, Sam rebuilt the sign. Same size. Same words. Love lives here. He didn't place it in the front yard this time. He nailed it right to the brick wall by the front door. And underneath, in smaller letters, he carved something new. Weakness is what hides in the dark, not what mourns in the light. We never saw Jason again. Never saw Rita either. But I'll tell you this. Some people think revenge is about getting even. But for us, it was about pulling someone's sickness into the light. Making sure they couldn't hide behind silence or shadows. We didn't just get revenge. We took back our peace. And this time, we dared them to try and take it again.